So, can all religions coexist? Should Christians champion and give platforms for other people to worship false gods? Is it ungodly and disrespectful to not embrace other people's religions? Is there a way to have respect for all faiths, but at the same time not encouraging people in that direction because you believe that their faith is false? Or is respect the encouragement to worship whatever God that you want? So I was scrolling this past week on Instagram, and I so happened to see a post by Pinky Cole. If you don't know who Pinky Cole is a black businesswoman who is the owner of Slutty Vegan, a vegan restaurant chain. And she posted this is in the morning, right? And she posted it and it says, okay, y'all, we're starting off the year right with our spiritual affairs in order. And I'm like, okay, cool, I can dig it. And then it says, I don't know about you, but having God, in all caps, a part of my business is the main ingredient. And then this is where it takes a turn, right? She says, so if you want to find somewhere to connect with your higher power, but don't know where to go, this post is for you. Then she says, so tag the best churches, worship centers, podcasts to listen to, etc. Doesn't matter your religion. Get in here, drop what you know. Good morning, right? So mind you, it's like this is the morning, right? But it takes a turn. She says, so if you want to find somewhere to reconnect with your higher power. And I started thinking, I'm like, ain't Pinky Cole Christian? Right? And I didn't want to make this video about her and like put her name in the video and things of that nature, because this is a topic of a broader conversation relative to can all religions coexist, right? And that's why I titled the video, Can All Religions Coexist? Because I'm using this example to springboard a conversation into, into our video. But she says, so if you want to find somewhere to connect with your higher power, but don't know where to go, this post is for you. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, isn't she a Christian, right? She got married last year, right? Her and her husband, who is also a businessman, has a chain of restaurants. They got married last year, and Montel Jordan was their officiant, and he performed at their wedding. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, Montel Jordan is well known as a Christian minister, right? He was famous for This Is How We Do It. And he turned Christian minister. Had a Christian minister at your wedding. Would you not have a Christian minister if you didn't somewhat at least align to some of the orthodox Christian values, right? You wouldn't, right? If you were a Buddhist or you were in Islam, etc., you wouldn't have Montel Jordan, who is a well-known Christian minister, I believe pastor, officiate your ceremony if he wasn't a Christian. So I started thinking, I'm like, is she a Christian? And what I see all too often is I see Christians who are celebrities and they're higher up there in rank in terms of the entertainment world, etc. And they're Christians, and they're talking about to whoever you pray to, your higher power, I believe in God, but you believe in your higher power, you do what you do, etc. Because people don't want to be rude, right? And people don't want to be rude, and people want to be respectful of people's religions and what they believe. So while being Christian, and though you believe in God, you're not going to cut off the conversation and say, oh, drop the best churches or drop the best worship centers. All my Christians stand up. You're not going to do nothing like that. You're going to say, I'm a Christian, but I respect everybody's religion, so you worship whoever you worship. And that kind of bothered me, because I'm like, like I said in the intro, is respect for another person's religion, does that mean that you then encourage them to worship whatever God that they want, though you are a Christian, and you give them platform to worship whoever, or talk about whoever or whatever they want on your platform? Or about being a Christian, do you have respect for these individuals and say, hey, you may believe in this or that, and I can respect that, but over here we talking about Jesus, or we ain't talking about nothing at all, right? And that's kind of what I wanted to see on that post. So, and that spawns the question, can all religions coexist? So the Bible tells us to live peaceably with all men, right? The Bible tells us, to pray for kings and people in authority, right? God, knowing that that these kings and these leaders that he's telling us to pray for ain't always going to be Christian, right? But he still tells us to pray for them, right? And then you have within the Old Testament, you have references of biblical characters who believed in Yahweh and believed in the God of Israel, navigating the marketplace, which is another name for a secular arena, navigating a marketplace with kings and people in authority, namely Joseph, Daniel, the three Hebrew boys. Think about Moses, but Moses wasn't necessarily in a marketplace, but he had to go against Pharaoh, right? So you have these examples in the Old Testament where God has people who believe in him navigating these spaces of secular movements, yet they still stand up for him, right? So the Bible tells us to be peaceable and to live peaceable with all men and to respect everybody, right? But is that respect, how can I put this? Is when you have respect for everybody, does that mean that you then allow them platform to worship whomever they want, to talk about whomever they want on your platform? Does that mean that you point them in the direction of whomever they want? Or being a Christian and you understanding the core values and you understanding what the core tenets of the faith is within Christendom, say, though you believe in something else, I believe in Christianity, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, and within Christianity, God says that there is no other God before him, right? I'm going to read some scriptures, but there is no other God before him, etc. So for me to encourage you in a direction that is not in the right direction, I'm actually doing you a disservice, right? That I can wholeheartedly respect you, I can wholeheartedly respect your position and not infringe upon your position and not push you in a particular direction because you have free will, but at the same time, I'm not going to encourage you to go in that direction, right? So you have free will. In the past couple of years, I've seen mad people unfollow me on Instagram, people that, I'd be trying to do interviews with, or when I was still doing interviews with Walk with Drew and things of that nature that weren't quite Christians, were a little bit secular. And I look on the page, I'm like, oh, they don't follow me. Oh, they don't follow me. And probably because I was talking about Jesus too much, which I can respect. And they remove themselves because that's not what type of time they on, right? And they have the choice to remove themselves because I'm talking too much about Jesus, or they don't like my content, or they don't agree. They have a choice to remove themselves, just like I have a choice to remove myself. But I think that's the safe place where you can respect what somebody believes, but you don't necessarily agree with it. Unfollow. You could leave the room, leave the conversation, stop hanging around them, etc. And at the same time, to me, what respect is I can respect another individual's faith. I can say, hey, they believe in this, and I respect the fact that they believe in this. This is what they doing, though I don't agree, and I believe that they're worshiping a false god, they're worshiping a demon, they're worshiping something false. I can say, hey, I respect you. You're not infringing upon my beliefs with my God, who I believe is the one true God. I'm not going to infringe upon your beliefs with your God, but I'm also not going to encourage you to go down that way. And I also would respect the fact that you don't encourage me to go down your way. And if you want to have a dialogue, we can have a dialogue and bring the scriptures out. We can do that. But until then, you respect your God over there, I respect mine over here, and it's cordial and it's mutual like that. So, can all religions coexist? The short answer is no. The Bible says in Isaiah 43:10, it says, "You are my witnesses, declares the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, so that you may know and believe me and understand that I am He. There was no God formed, and there will be none after me. Before me there was no God formed, and there will be none after me." Jeremiah 10:10, it says, "But the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. At his wrath, the earth quakes and the nations cannot endure his indignation," right? So in the end, a biblical worldview of Christianity sees God as the only God, right? And all other gods as false gods, as demons. We can get into this in another video, as false gods and as demons. And we cannot biblically coexist with other religions. It's biblically just not possible. I can respect what somebody got going on over there, but we biblically cannot coexist. There biblically cannot be worship for Buddha, Allah, and Jesus Christ at the same time in the Christian worldview. In the Christian worldview, it says that it commands everybody not named Yahweh to bow or to submit. It literally commands everybody not named Yahweh to bow and to submit. So in order to coexist, that means that Buddha would have to get a certain amount of worship, Allah, Scientology, Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, Islam, etc. All these different false gods who are vying for the worship of the people today, in order for everybody to coexist, would equally have to get worship, or would some over there would have to get worship, some over here would have to get worship, right? But biblically, it says the Lord is the one true God, right? And there's no other God who has been formed before me. There's no other God formed, and there will be none after me. So with that saying, that in Isaiah 43, it's literally saying, I'm the only God, do worship. Every other God that you're worshiping is false. I'm the only one, do the worship and the praise. And in the end, you all will worship me and you all will praise me, whether you like it or not. Revelation talks about that more. So you all will worship me and you all will praise me, whether you like it or not. But you better submit now rather than submit later. So in the end, no, we cannot biblically, all religions cannot biblically coexist. It's just not possible.